it looks like you were able to do it.
Yeah, I got it. Yeah. All right, cool. I was wondering whether you wanted to go live so that the algorithm will favor you more and then you get more reach.
Yeah,
It's
I
up to you
mean,
though. Yeah.
it doesn't matter. I mean,
Yeah, it's fine. Yeah.
I think it's gonna get the same. Yeah, that's all right. That's fine.
Okay, that's okay. Yeah, cool. So it's recording now. Yeah, anyway, how's your week, Ruan?
My week is it's very good. It's very good. I had a very busy week. I have more busy coming up. I'm gonna take
Yeah.
some time off today and then go right back to work tomorrow. So
Awesome. Wow.
very, very busy week.
Yeah, that's
I found,
dedication.
I found that since I haven't been in a relationship, you know, I recently broke up with my girlfriend and my business partner. So
Right. Yeah,
I found that the busier that I can be, the less I think about emotional things.
correct.
So I always try to keep myself busy. And because when you sit down and you really just, you know, think, you start thinking about bad things and then you start
Yeah.
getting demotivated. So I just try to keep myself busy all day.
Yeah, wow. I mean, I actually saw like your Instagram and then you were with Becky and stuff. So like walk me through that, man. Like what happened?
Yeah, I think what happened was we just changed. Me specifically, I definitely changed, and she changed. And so I wasn't giving her the attention that she needed,
Right.
and she walked away. So it's understandable. I'm not mad about it. We still communicate very often, but you know, these are the types of things that I think are very important in business, is having a partner, because you know, I'm not focused when I don't have a partner. Like, I want to go out, I want to go to the bar, I want to do all the stuff. That's not what I should be focused on. So kind of sucks, but at the end of the day, I think it was the right thing for both of us to do.
Yeah. So she was also your business partner at development or?
No, no, she was not. If she was, we wouldn't. I don't think we would have broken up. But we just had two different goals and two different paths.
Wow. Okay. I think, yeah, it's good to know that like, you know, if you guys are heading towards different directions, just do what's best, right? Do you know what I
Yeah,
mean? So,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah, definitely.
All right. Yeah. So like let's get started. Like I just actually want to really like thank you, Ruan, because I think we actually spoke last year, somewhere in May or something. I'm not sure
Yep.
whether you recall that. But yeah, I think like I've made enormous progress since we last spoke. And I really just want to thank you for like in terms of you know, everything that you do, like all the content that you have uploaded on YouTube, you know, your course, and then yeah, it has really changed my life. Yeah.
Absolutely, man. And I thank you for following me. Because there's so many people that you can follow, and I know you follow a lot of SEOs and a lot of digital marketers. So
Yeah.
the same level of gratitude and appreciation goes right back to you.
Yeah. Thank you. Yeah. I mean, I do follow like Chase Rainer and then, you know, just the typical like Ahrefs channel and Neil Patel and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, typically I think like in terms of your personality, like it's very easy to, you know, catch up on and follow. And I like how transparent you are. So yeah, that's definitely a plus.
Too transparent sometimes.
Yeah, but it's a good thing, right? Like you have
Yeah,
nothing to hide. It's easy to kind of, you know, be who you are. Like yeah, it's just worry free, you know what I mean?
yeah, for sure, man, for sure. And yeah, I think that's how most people should live. But most people live in an illusion of themselves because they're scared of seeing the real selves. So I don't like living like that. It gives me anxiety. And when everybody knows everything about me, it's just a lot easier to just like communicate and live, because then you have nothing to lie, you have nothing to talk about. I mean, it's direct to the point. So
Yeah,
I think it's great.
correct. Yeah, 100%. I completely agree, which is why like I'm trying to be 100% transparent about everything that I do as well. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, there's nothing to hide from the
It's not
clients,
easy.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah, like I mean, I let them know like what I do with their like SEO campaign. All right, like we're building a bit of links here and there. We are doing on page. This is the strategy that we're gonna do. So yeah, it's refreshing. Like you actually don't have to hide that. Oh, we're like building PBNs or anything. So yeah, I think
Mm-hmm.
it's
Yeah.
awesome. It's great.
Yeah. Now it wasn't always like that. I was using PBNs probably like 2 years ago. And the moment I stopped using them, my life got so much easier, I swear to God. So I think that there's a lot of ways to rank nowadays without using PBNs, but most people believe that that's their only strategy and that's what they know. And the problem is when you're doing an agency like yours, when you're doing an agency like mine, and you start scaling to, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 100 clients, you can't afford to have a PBN network, because if all of those sites go down at once, you're getting a gigantic lawsuit and you won't be able to run your business again. So I think it's one of those things where I'm looking for sustainability. I'm not really looking for high rankings fast. I don't care about that. I want sustainability. I want a business over time. And the SEO that can rank without PBNs is always going to be stronger than the SEO that can rank over PBNs, because the one that can rank always has that liability of potentially getting caught in the future. So that was something that I had. I had a gigantic PBN network on something called Cloak Hosting. And Cloak Hosting basically is a hosting platform where you can have several WordPress websites and not be tracked. And it was costing me like $500 a month. So like I saved so much money not doing PBN, so much stress, so much time, so much upkeep, just focused on my clients.
Yeah, especially when, there's the manual penalties, right? Each time you use it, and then Google would just say, you got to disavow these links. Otherwise, we're going to, not move you up in the rankings. So.
And when your client sees that message in Search Console, because if they're attached to your Search Console, they will see that message. Forget about it. Your trust is gone with that client. They're going to read, they're going to search, they're going to learn about it, like they always do about everything that you're doing for them. So I think that just that, what you just said, almost gives me a panic attack. If one of my clients were like, hey, what is this? And it was a manual action for disavowing spammy backlinks, that would freak me out unless I didn't build those backlinks. And so it's very easy for your client to go to another agency and say, please research what this person did to my account. And if they check your backlink portfolio, even if you're not you're not letting them crawl through the robot.txt file, even if, how does that just randomly appear? And so that's something that's very scary to me. It almost gave me a panic attack, what you just said. The manual action, backlinks, disavow, because that takes months. Have you ever dealt with a situation like that?
Yeah, so I saw that situation before. It was stressful, right? Because obviously it was not just one website. It was across like multiple accounts. And it's a very stressful situation. You gotta, disavow, and then the worst part is you still have to account manage. You gotta like tell the clients that, hey, it's a hiccup. We're doing this and this to solve it. We're basically disavowing the links so that you can crawl back up in the rankings. Yeah, so it's very stressful. It's a lot of pressure. So I think like right now, the direction of SEO, right, has really changed, right? Like it's not so much about just building links anymore. It's really on focusing on the on-page, on the marketing strategy of the client, right? Because they really got to make an offer that's good enough to stand out, and Google would like that naturally, and in the long run gain the required social signals and the click-through rates in order for them to rank. I think that's why it's SEO has really changed over the past like 2 to 3 years, in fact.
Yeah, and I'm a firm believer that if you're an agency, you can't just be an SEO agency. And the reason for that is because the rankings really depend on the brand that you're trying to work with. So if you're an agency and you say that you're just an SEO agency, you're not going to be able to scale as much as you can scale like a PPC agency, because the PPC agencies, they're driving leads almost instantaneously. And the client, although the rankings are very nice, waiting for organic leads just takes way too long. And so running like an integrated pay-per-click campaign, also doing the SEO, is generally the best way to go about it, because the SEO is not going to happen really quickly. It might take years, and especially if you're in a competitive area. So I think that with scalability reasons, it's very difficult to say, I'm just going to do SEO, because you can't scale building backlinks. You can't scale building guest posts. You can't scale doing that. It's unless you're going to hire $100,000 a year content marketers to do it for you, it's very difficult to get clients that are even interested in doing that type of stuff. And so like these local businesses, what they really want is they want to put $1 in and they want to get 10 out. I mean, that's their goal. So however you get to that goal, if it's SEO or not, is completely up to you. Some people do it with Facebook. Some people do it with Google. Some people do it with in-person events. Some people do it with SEO. Some people do it with websites. Some people do it with PR. I mean, there's so many ways to where you can drive return on investment. SEO is not the only way. It's just how can you figure out a proprietary system that you've tested and that can bring a customer, your target customer, more money. It doesn't have to just be SEO. And I think that
Yeah.
that's one of the key things that a lot of people in the SEO industry are so confused on. They're so stuck in these old ways of like, hey, I'm going to rank this website. They're going to make so much money. I'm going to charge $3,000 a month. To be honest, the service isn't even worth $3,000 a month anymore. It's really not.
Yeah.
And because of that, people like you and I, we have to innovate and we have to learn, machine learning, AI, and these different types of tools to make our jobs easier so we can focus on high ROI things like public relations and advertising. So, I think that SEO industry has changed since I've started. Definitely. I only started like 3 or 4 years ago.
Yeah.
But I can't imagine people like, like Nathan Gotch, or people, even like some of the people that were in like the 2000s doing it. That was completely different, because it was all SEO and there was no Google ads.
Yeah.
Now Google's really prioritizing the people that pay to play.
Correct. It's really a pay to play model now, right? If you think about it, what you mentioned is absolutely correct, that SEO is not so much about just building links and really ranking a website anymore. It's about building the overall brand of the business, right? To make sure that it's branded, right? Be it by forms of like press release, or be it by forms of like getting on radio, getting on TV, like it's a full integrated system that could help you build your brand and the overall quote unquote authority in Google's eyes. I think that's what SEO really is, because you can't like fight the algorithm, right? Because the algorithm is always going to like change. So the only thing that you can do to really build the brand is to have a holistic marketing strategy that encompasses like Facebook ads, Google ads, right? The performance marketing side of things, like that, I think is really where most businesses should start, right? Because if you can't make paid traffic profitable, what makes you think you can make organic traffic profitable, right? It probably wouldn't be profitable, because paid traffic is already giving you the eyeballs, the immediate eyeballs that you need. And if you can't convert on those customers, like it's almost impossible to convert on organic traffic, right? So that's what I think, like the whole SEO game has shifted, right? Doesn't matter whether what kind of technical SEO or how you try to trick the Google search engine that your website should rank better. The reality is it's not really possible to do that anymore, because the Google algorithm is smart enough to detect what you're doing behind the scenes to kind of manipulate the algorithm. So that's what I think. Yeah.
And it's it's tough to scale a business like you can use PBNs now. You can use the YouTube trick that I use. You can use all sorts of different tricks to rank higher on the search results. But at the end of the day, it's like, can you really grow a transparent business that way? Can you really grow something that you're proud of if you want to go that route by not being able to show your client sites on your website? I mean, I think that's ridiculous. The first thing that you see on DevelopMark's website is all of our recent websites and clients that we work with. And so I think that level of transparency, it helps customers realize, like, look, these people, they have nothing to hide. Most SEO agencies, they're these sketchy people with, they can't even show their client websites, and they don't even show their pictures on their website. I don't want to be that at all. I think that that's so weak. But at the end of the day, you're right. It's like you can manipulate all you want, but you're not going to be able to grow until you can figure out a way to be completely transparent about the tactics that you're using. And that's why it's good to just increase your value add. So look, don't just do the SEO, do the website, do the SEO, and do the PPC, and you're going to have a super satisfied client. And that's what DevelopMark is really all about. We were able to basically start with the SEO. Look, I specialize in SEO. Then I took all these web design courses. Then I took all these PPC courses, and then I built a team. And so now when we take on a client, we don't take a client unless we have their website. That's the #1 rule at DevelopMark. We will not work on a site's SEO if we don't own the web, if we don't take over the website. And there's several reasons for that. And I think that once you have that much value add to a client, once you have the website, you have the SEO and the PPC, they're going to be extremely satisfied, and you're not just going to grow based on these sketchy PBN tactics.
Correct. I am 100% like with you on that, right? Because I do the same. Like if I don't get the client's website, I'm not going to do that campaign, because I know it's not going to work out, right? If they have like a super outdated legacy content management system that's used like 20 years ago that I don't even know how to operate, can't even change the title text, can't even change the meta description, like there's no point. I'll just redo their website from scratch, like using WordPress. I mean, I know that you use do that, but like for us, I mean, we're happy using open source system, which is WordPress. And then
I mean, it's whatever works for you.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. Whatever rocks your boat, right? So that's typically how we like onboard the client. We want to make sure that we take over the whole website. We can have control of their PPC. We can have control of their Facebook ads, Instagram ads, right? And then ultimately, the whole point of the marketing campaign is to really generate them the leads and the sales, because these are really the tangible metrics that we should look at, right? It's not so much about, oh, what are the links that you built this month? Oh, how many clicks did I get this month? How many impressions did I get this month? All these things I feel are vanity metrics, because the only thing that matters is the number of leads, the number of sales, the number of revenue, the amount of revenue. That's really what matters, right? So that being said, I think, yeah, you brought a very solid point, right? Like, unless you can get the client's website, there's really no point in discussing how you should proceed with your marketing campaign. It's very, very true. I actually adopted this methodology that you just described because I think it is the most sensible way to approach a client's campaign. And you mentioned also, right, like for the transparency side of things, like all these other SEO agencies that do shady black hat stuff, like, oh, we suddenly want to build like 100 links or 50 links or whatever it is and point to your website. They don't actually dare to tell the client that, right? Because it's misguided, it's short term, it might only last for like a few months before like Google penalizes that and catches up on that. So yeah, there's no point in trying to fluff the campaign to your client and tell your client that, yeah, we're doing a good job because look at the traffic is going up, but months down the road it just dips down because you're doing shady stuff, and the problem is you don't even dare to tell your client that you're doing all this shit, because you don't want to show them the referring domains, you don't want to show them the backlinks, then obviously you have something to hide. And that itself is not how the whole marketing strategy should be, because marketing is so much more than just rankings and so much more than just Google, right? It's really creating that overall strategy in terms of the offer that you have for the business, and then crafting really a landing page that would convert. That's really the basic and the fundamentals of getting the business's message out there.
And we're so you made a really good point, because we've done that. We've done the crowdsourcing traffic generation thing. We've done backlinks. We've purchased citations. We've done all of the type of stuff that ideally does bring up the website traffic. We were able to rank some good keywords using those types of methods. But one time a client was smart enough to go into Google Analytics, and they were wondering why 60% of the traffic was from Afghanistan, or 60% of the traffic was from India, or 60% of the traffic was from these other countries, because when we sent them on the monthly report, we didn't even think about that. And so we didn't create a filtered view to just show them a location to them. So we created this monthly report, and their top country was Afghanistan, or whatever country that was sending out the crowdsourced traffic. And so what we realized was that was the robot actually crawling their site to give them the crowdsourced traffic. So once they realized that, all trust was lost in that client, and we ended up losing that client. So I think if you are going to do these tactics, just make sure that you control the analytics account, and you create filtered views to just show them analytics in their location. If you are going to go that route, if you're going to go the completely transparent route, you still should create a filtered view in Google Analytics for all your client campaigns. But you definitely don't want to have them see your manipulative tactics right inside of analytics, because they can easily see that. In terms of backlink, that's why, like, your offer on your website, like SEO, the main offer on your website, the main lead magnet is the coronavirus strategy session. Someone like you, if you're taking on a new SEO client and you can tell them that sketchy SEO tactics are happening on their site, you can easily put in a domain into SEMrush or Ahrefs, quickly find anything that's going on in that site and report it to them. That agency has lost all trust in the client that they're working with, and they're likely going to work with you. So that's our best client. Our best client says, we're working with this guy. We don't know what he's doing. It doesn't sound right what he's doing. We don't hear from him, blah, 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 X, Y, and Z. We don't hear from her. She doesn't send me anything. Those are the best clients in the world, because usually they're being manipulated. And so it's so easy to find out black hat tactics for someone like you and I, or anybody watching this video, that it's almost not even worth doing, because you're going to lose clients.
Yeah, 100%, right? So exactly, like when you really boil it down to like the first principles, right? In terms of communicating with the client, if you're not transparent, I think the client wouldn't even want to hold you around for like more than a couple of months, because they are basically paying you the money. And if you don't even tell them what's going on in the back end side of things, then it's very hard for them to place money with you to continue the relationship down the road. So all these other agencies that, you know, start to build links and start to, you know, share about all the, not share, but more of like, oh, just pass me the money, I'll give you the rankings. Because the reality is, it's not about the rankings. It's about whether the company can get the sales, the leads, and the revenue. That's the only thing that matters, right? Because if they don't get any of these three tangible metrics, then the campaign is essentially not working out. That's what it is. It means that as a digital marketing agency, you're not doing your job. Yeah, so I look at it that way. I think that for every client that, you know, you onboard, or probably in my agency that we onboard, we really want to focus on the client's success and make sure that we keep them around for as long as possible. We are giving them the guidance that they need, the consultation that would take their business to a whole new level. That's what I think.
Yeah, and you know, it's so painful to see clients go. You do all of this work, and then they want to exit your company, and now you feel like you've just wasted a bunch of time, even though you got paid.
Correct.
You know, the success is not in the first year. The success is in the first 10 years with that client.
Yeah.
So if you can hold on clients for that long, which you should be able to if you do the 3 controllable assets that I mentioned in this video, SEO, PPC, and website, you're going to see a far, far better lifestyle than if you're churning clients every 3 months. And I know so many agencies that do that because they're too weak to tell their clients, you're in a contract. No, we have the website. You can't exit. They're just too weak to do that. They don't put their foot on the ground. Maybe they're not good enough to do that. That's probably what it is. There's something about actually just not being good enough yet. And people need to understand that that's okay. That's an okay position to be in. You shouldn't beat yourself up if you're not good enough yet. Look, a lot of people think that, you know, just because they're doing SEO and just because people like you and I tell them that they need to put contracts, they need to do SEO, that doesn't mean you can have clients yet. That just means that you understand the skill at a basic level. You shouldn't have clients until you understand the skill on an advanced level to where you can monitor, you can project, you've seen problems, you know how to handle problems, because clients are just going to come in and out every 2 or 3 months, going to make you depressed. And so at that time, when that's happening, it's important to understand you're just not good enough yet. And you got to just keep getting better. You know, there's nothing wrong with failure. There's nothing wrong with getting back up. There's nothing wrong with failing a few times if you're just going to do better next time. But people need to understand, like, look, you're not good enough yet. And it's such a sad thing to tell people because they don't understand it. But it's like, dude, like, you know, people like myself, people like with, you know, other agency friends that I have, they've worked their asses off to get to where they are right now. And now they can retain their clients, but it took them 10 years, right? And so you can't just expect to start digital marketing in the first year or two and expect to retain a bunch of clients. It's not going to happen. You're going to suck for your first 5 or so years. And so once you do get that system, you're going to enjoy the freedom of actually having clients that retain, that are happy. But in your first couple of years, forget about it. You're going to churn and burn. But the biggest piece of advice that I can give is get the website. The moment you get the website, it's going to be a lot more difficult for that client to leave. It's going to be so much more difficult for them to leave because you're already managing so much for them. Now, there's other things that they would leave. One of them is communication. Even if you're doing a great job, but you're not communicating them and they don't feel like they're progressing forward, even though they're getting leads, people want to grow with you. They don't want to just get leads. So if they feel like they're not growing from where they were when they started with you as a business in general, that's where your management consulting side has to step in. And you have to really understand businesses in and out. That's why I spend so much of my goddamn time reading, because I need to understand business more than my clients. And so the moment that you're getting on calls like this, our monthly calls, and you're in the course so you can see them, how we handle calls. And it's just, you know, you're literally like, hey, Jim, how's your business going? And then I'm gathering information so I can equip my team to do better this month for that client. And it's more of a business management approach rather than just SEO and technical. Because clients need to feel like the money that they're giving you is going to be worth more today. And it's going to be worth more in a year than it is today. And that's an investment. And so even if you're getting them leads, most of our clients don't even, you know, most of our clients, they're already getting so many leads because they're good brands locally. So for them, it's like, how do we know that we're actually growing? And at that point, then you start selling CRM, then you start selling revenue attribution services, then you start selling management consulting. And that's kind of where that part of DevelopMark is going to go. Because the SEO, PPC, website design, we got that stuff down.
Yeah, it's like the next step is really the analytics side of things, right? Like, do you guys sell like Hyros or something?
We don't. I've never even tried it. I want to try it. I definitely heard it's really good. But to be honest with you, we have tracking, we have tracking down to such a good level because we're introducing a product called Splashdsh, which is not going to compete with Hyros, but it's going to be an all-in-one agency dashboard management tool that tracks, and it actually does call tracking. It does all of this great stuff. So we haven't tried Hyros. And so once we have this tool, I don't think we're going to need to try it because we're going to have tracking down to everything. But with Duda, if you use Duda and if you use some of the basic services that are out there, you can track things very easily. That tool is more for like, people spending thousands and thousands on YouTube ads. And, we just don't do that at this point. But basically what this tool is going to look like, I'm going to share my screen with you really quickly.
Sure.
This is an example of what the tool looks like. So this is for the project Painters in CT. And then you're going to be able to basically have all of your metrics inside of here. And you can like add cards, and you can basically say, let's add analytics, Google Analytics. I want to add, basic stuff here. You can add Search Console things inside of here. Like I can add the click-through rate thing here, and it'll drop down here. And then I can basically move it and make this its own tab. And so you're going to be able to do this type of stuff inside of Splashdsh, which is going to then have a viewable link to the client with your agency's branding on it. So if I toggle dark mode off, you can see how my logo is there. That's going to have the ability to have the agency's logo. And then you're going to be able to have a tool that looks similar like this, and you can actually see the click-through rates. And you're going to be able to basically even integrate call tracking. So like this is something that's so cool because we often find ourselves using separate tools, but with our integrations that we're going to have, if you have like a CallRail account, you're going to be able to quickly see all the leads that come in through your CallRail account or your Twilio account directly in the dashboard. So we're going to be able to track progress on a whole other level, and the agencies are going to be able to brand this with their branding and then share it for the client with a link. So it's going to eliminate really the need to do reporting on a monthly basis.
Yeah, look, that actually looks fantastic, right? So like
I can't wait for it, man. It's taken forever, but it's gonna be worth it.
Yeah, what I'm currently using is like this agency analytics software. Like you could see, I think you have probably seen this before already. So I'm just gonna briefly show it to you, right? Because these are all the stats that we track, like rankings and all that stuff. All this, to me, like it's in a way the vanity metrics. It connects to like Google My Business and then Search Console, right? And then if I wanted to, integrate, what was it, CallRail? CallRail is actually here as well. Call tracking metrics, CallRail, Bing Webmaster Tools, Active Campaign, LinkedIn ads. Like there's everything here. It's actually pretty robust in terms of connecting, whatever it is that you want to connect. So yeah, we actually use this dashboard that we bought. It's a software as a service. It's pretty similar to what you were trying to design. So yeah, it's good. Like it's really systemized to, account manage and, allow the account managers to report to the client what is happening and how we can better the campaign.
Yeah, and that's our goal with Splashdsh. That's the tool that I just showed you that we're developing. The goal is to be a lot more elegant than agency analytics. I think agency analytics is very confusing. It's supposed to be a lot more elegant, and you're not going to have integrations like Spotify or Shopify. You're not going to have all of these irrelevant WooCommerce. It's going to be just for local businesses, so agencies that sell to local business. And so with that being said, our goal with it is to be as elegant as possible and get down to the conversion as much as possible. So we're actually partnering with Twilio, and we're going to be able to assign call tracking numbers with Splashdsh. So basically when you get a new client and you import them into agency analytics dashboard that we have, it's going to also give you 8 phone numbers to use, so you can use call tracking on your client sites, and it all reports back into our dashboard. So
you're saying the call tracking is already integrated inside the software itself, so you don't have to buy a separate CallRail or something?
Nope, you don't have to buy a CallRail. Let me show you. So basically what happens is you would just basically go to right here where it says add site on this section. And then when you add a site, you would basically put the site name, put the site URL, integrate everything. You can even do keyword tracking. So you're gonna be able to track keywords on here on a monthly basis. And then what's gonna happen is it's gonna assign you phone numbers. And then inside of your dashboard, you're gonna see all the calls and stuff like that. So you don't have to use CallRail. And actually we're gonna be able to give out website chats too. So you're going to be able to embed a website chat on your client website, and all that chat data will come into your dashboard. And then you're also going to get a JavaScript code that'll track your form fills, so the client and you can see all of your clients' conversion data in one dashboard. And you're going to get important metrics like how much they spent, how many leads they got, average dollar cost per lead, and then all of your vanity metrics as well.
Yeah, this is sick, man. Like what you have designed for Splashddash, that is insane. Because that's basically like putting the CRM, like HubSpot or ActiveCampaign, together with Google Search Console, Google Analytics, together with the form fill, together with the CRM, together. It's everything. It's like a full suite by itself. So I really like that. I think that's sick. Like that's crazy. That's madness. Yeah, but
Man,
I definitely want to. Yeah, I definitely want to buy Splashddash, like if it's on the market.
We're gonna let you beta it. We're gonna let you beta it in about a month or so. So I'll make sure to reach out to you. Beta is completely free. We just want you to add a site or two and then go through it, and then there will be a feedback tool that will be there, and then you can just deliver feedback. But it's going to be extremely extraordinary because you're going to be able to put Best SEO Singapore as the logo, and then you're going to be able to set the URL just like you did with Agency Analytics. You're going to be able to share the preview link, and the clients. Oh, here's my favorite part about it. So with Twilio, we're going to be able to, every time your client gets a lead, it's going to be attributed in Splashddash, but it's going to send an email to the client giving them all the details of that new lead every time a lead comes in. So the lead notifications you're going to be able to set in Splashddash. So it's going to email the client. It's going to say, Best SEOs, new lead from this website. Here are the lead details. Listen to the call. See the form fill, however you want to do that. And then you're going to be able to manage those contacts in the dashboard, and it's going to play as a CRM as well. And so this is going to use chat, call, and form fill all inside of this one dashboard, and any integration. We have every integration already built in. We have every integration, but you're going to be able to do a lot of the type of level of tracking that a lot of people want to do. So when you mentioned Hyros, there's a possibility of us integrating with them as well to get better tracking. But that's my next step. That's my next company, is software as a service. Because Develomark is. I have a team of people that innovate the entire thing. These are young people. These are middle-aged people. These are not people of crazy experience by any means. They have the power. They have the torch. They know the direction of the company. Let them take it. I'm going to start working on Splashddash because Splashddash is going to help Develomark. So it's a great way to spend my time.
I love it. Like, because you're transitioning from basically like being in the business to on the business, and then right now you're transitioning into a software as a service. So I think that's like the direction that I would say most business owners want to head towards, right? To really be on the business rather than like being in the business, which is what I am right now. I am like delivering the work, I'm doing the account management, I'm doing the sales.
I was delivering the work at 2 a.m. last night, so don't worry. What I'll do is I'll go on to like my favorite client websites. So I'll show you an example. Like, this is one of my favorite clients. They pay us.
I saw this. This is sick. This
nice. It's a really good website. Get a ton of leads. So I'll just like go through these websites and just like pick at things and just make sure everything is spelt right. So I'll still deliver the work. I'm just trying to get people better at delivering the work so I can like focus on the business. But I'm probably like 40% on the business, 60% in the business.
All right. Your team has grown, right? Like it's probably more than like 10 people now.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So that's the direction that I want to go towards. Because right now, like I pretty much have like 4 people on the team, and that includes 1 intern, right, and 1 freelancer that we hire every now and then. And then it's just me and my business partner, which is also my wife. So now it's a really, really lean team that I pretty much just like do pretty much 90% of everything. Yeah, like it's just nuts. Like I'm trying to find the right hires. I'm trying to hire people now. I'm trying to scale. So I even got like a vision board that like we pretty much plotted out like, the goal.
Yeah, I don't even do that. That's awesome.
2020 and then 2021, 2022, we want to hire like 3 packs here. We want to hire like 6 packs here, 9 packs here, like 1 general manager, 1 chief operating officer. Yeah, so like 12 packs here, 3 copywriters, 3 performance marketers, so on and so forth. Yeah, and we even have a goal here that says we want to deliver like more than $1 million in revenue for like, sorry, that's 1 billion. Sorry, $1 billion in revenue for our client.
Yeah.
combined in 5 years time. So like we actually have a vision board. I mean, I have a vision board to kind of like look at every day, right? After I wake up, and then yeah, just get in the zone and really just work towards that.
And that's how I know you're going to grow. Most people don't do that. But some people will do that and then they won't do anything about it. So I'm the type of person that's just doing everything about it, but don't do like the actual planning. And a lot of our teammates, you know, are upset about that because they want to know clearly where they're going. So now they're creating that. And so I think that that's so great. I mean, you're so focused and you know where you want to go, and you're taking the actionable steps to actually get there. And that's critical, because a lot of people, they'll think about doing that type of stuff. They'll read about it, they'll learn about it, they'll never do it though. And that's such a big problem, because they're scared to fail, they're scared to talk to people, you know, and so the moment that you can start implementing on that, you're going to reach that goal, no problem, as long as you implement it.
Yeah, Ruan, like that is absolutely correct, because ideas are cheap, execution is everything, right? Everybody can have the greatest idea. Oh, I thought of Uber like 10 years ago. Oh, I thought of like Uber, 20 years ago. It doesn't matter, but it's about the execution that matters. So Uber was the one that raised the funds, did the seed capital, and connected the right venture capitalists to grow as Uber. So yeah, it's all in the execution. It's not about the ideas. I think people could be like watching your YouTube videos for like hours at a time, but still not take any action, right? Because many people will be out there like, why are you releasing all these secrets? Why are you releasing all this content about, quote unquote, intellectual property about your business? To me, it's not really about the intellectual property, because it's about being transparent with the client on what you're doing. And ultimately, also, it's not about like, oh, I gotta not let my competitors know what I'm doing, right? To me, it's about being transparent, and also really being in a way content marketing as well. So yeah, it's like a kill two birds with one stone kind of thing.
Yeah, and I've never really thought about it that way with intellectual property, because it is. And I think at the end of the day, it's very difficult to, as I grow, it's going to be very difficult to show clients as they become more secretive. But Develomark doesn't work with Fortune 5,000 companies. We don't want to work with Fortune 5. We don't want to. I don't want that stress. That's the last piece of stress that I want, man. I'm talking, I know agencies that just do Fortune 5,000, Fortune 500, and they make 70 million a year. They make a lot of money, but that's all they can do. They can't for a moment step away from client management. And so the beauty of local is it's very easy to get those general managers that you're visioning to manage, 2,000 a month accounts, 5,000 a month accounts, local. They're just getting leads. When you look at companies like Scorpion, they're doing $350 million a year, and they're not working with Fortune 5,000 companies. So it has nothing to do with the bigger the client, the better. No, it's about creating a service that's scalable so you can soak up the entire market. And the service doesn't have to be expensive. So many people think that that's the way you go about it is, I see Facebook ads from people like Rob Quinn or whatever, like these gurus that sell you sales stuff, and they can book your calendar.
The ClickFunnels pyramid scheme, Ruan.
Yeah, all those guys. And their thing is like, oh, well, when Jamie came into our program, she was charging $1,000 a month. Now she's charging $3,000 a month, blah, 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 blah. And I'm thinking to myself, how do you even justify that? How are you even getting business owners to sign up for that? She doesn't even know what she's selling. She's just selling digital marketing. She's getting people to fall for it. And at the end of the day, companies like Scorpion, companies like Reach Local, companies like Marketing 360, those guys that are doing over 100 million a year, they're not selling these crazy Fortune 5,000 companies. No, they're selling the local painter that they can get on their account for $1,000 a month and keep them for 20 years. That's what they're doing. And that's the best way to do it, because many people, and I had to teach this to my team so many times, many people say, oh, it's just they're paying $1,000 a month. It's not that crazy. But when you take $1,000 and you multiply it by 12, that's 12,000 to start, right? If that client stays with us for 10 years, we're now talking $120,000 that client is worth to us. So at that point, they're a lot easier to keep than a $10,000 a month client, because they're spending a lot more. So I think that, and when you lose a $10,000 a month client, you start freaking out. And it's something that I just don't like, having all that stress. I'd rather sell
Correct.
a product that we've already made. So the major reason why we use Duda is because I can pre-make, and you can do this with WordPress too. It's just a lot more complicated.
Yeah, it's the same.
I have pre-made sections and templates that if we sell a painting company, the site gets made in 30 minutes. If we sell a mold removal company, the site gets made in an hour. And then the text generation, we use machine learning and AI to build that text. And so all of that stuff is already built inside of the actual site. And that's what I want. I don't want to take on a Fortune 5,000 company, spend all day light long just to make a $100,000 check. Yeah, it's a lot of money, but the amount of stress behind having to deal with those types of clients that are extremely demanding, looking for this crazy strategy, looking for all this crazy, it's not worth it. I'm not experienced yet to do projects like that. And I don't think I'm ever going to be the type of person that wants to manage clients all day. I think that my real passion comes in networking, relationship building, and, you know, coming out with new ideas and products and services. That's where I like spending my time. Some people love the client management, like this person in Connecticut, Inspira. You need to check them out. They're called Inspira. They're doing 70 million a year, all clients all day. So it's that's fine if that's how you want to live your life. But for me, I'd rather take, you know, let's say $20 million a year and have to deal with, you know, software as a service, or just not having to deal with it's not deal. Okay. I like handling clients. I like managing clients. I like talking to them, but I don't want all of the responsibility of someone else's business on my hands. If they're a Fortune 5,000 company, I'm not ready to do that. I leave that up to companies like Boston Consulting Group and McKinsey and Co. They can handle that. You know, that's what they specialize in. They're really good at doing stuff like that. But they've been in business for 100 years. So I think that in time, we may go that management consulting route. But right now, it's let's get these local plumbers, these local painters, these local home improvement, these local dentists. A lot of people love local. It's the best way to go. They're the easiest to get, the easiest to keep happy, the easiest to retain. And so that's our goal, is to get, you know, 10,000 clients at 1,000 to 5,000 to 10,000 a month, and you'll be very successful.
Right, yeah, that's the direction that I'm heading towards as well, right? Because like we really want to help the backbone of the economy, which is like 99%, which are small, medium business owners. So that in itself is like the bulk of the market share where they're hanging out. And I think a lot of small, medium businesses have not digitized their marketing. They're still relying heavily on traditional marketing, and also they're always complaining, right? They're always blaming like, oh, the government is doing this and this and this, the economy is not doing well, there's COVID-19 pandemic. But the reality is like they have not found a predictable way of getting customers, right? That's really what, you know, that's the biggest issue that we're trying to solve as a digital marketing agency. So I think by going to, you know, like for yourself, because you're doing local clients, right? That's the direction to go towards. But for like a country like Singapore, we don't really have local, because the nature of how small the country is. So we don't really have local, but we have like national, in the sense that, yeah, it's a national of like 5 million people. So that's pretty much the scale of local, I guess. Yeah, but you know, in a way, because it's the proximity, right? In Singapore, the proximity is like so dense already. Like there's really no need for like local SEO in that sense. Yeah, even though like a town here, there's like 50,000 people living in a town. The next town is like 5 minutes away. It's literally a 5 minutes train ride away. So
yes, I mean, like what I know Singapore is a free open economy, right?
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
Yeah, and so like what fuels your economy? So like Brazil, it's a lot of coffee, it's a lot of like consumer goods. United States, it's all tech, it's all innovation, it's all steel. Well, you know, what's Singapore? What's powering?
Yeah, Singapore, like you need to understand, for Singapore, we don't actually have any natural resources, simply because like we're so small as a country, and the only thing that we have is human capital. So we do, like, I would say probably 80%, if not 90% of the economy is based on professional services, things like accounting, programming, software engineering. Yeah, exactly. Like dentistry, whatever, right? Like all the service-based stuff, the professional services stuff, right? The consulting, the engineering, you know, the financial services. Yeah, those are like pretty much what fuels the economy. And like what, you know, I mean, I'm not like trying to sound like a patriotic or anything, but like tomorrow is actually the Singapore's Independence Day. So yeah, like that's how like the country progressed so quickly, right? From like zero and to like, you know, an HDI of like in the 0.9 index, like one of the more developed countries in the world. Again, I'm not trying to like brag or anything, but I'm just saying like, yeah, that's what made the country grow so quickly because we rely very heavily on human capital. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's, I mean, that's, if anything, massive opportunity for you,
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
now when you start saying human capital, your business model is going to be, it can't be my business model. It just can't, because my business model relies on technology, trying to get rid of human capital. And your business model might make more sense to employ hundreds, if not thousands of people offering a basic service that's more expensive in the United States. And
Yeah.
that service can be like, I know Ruby chats, they're doing, tens of millions of dollars a year. All of their staff members are out of the country, and they're doing basic human capital type of services, answering the phones, responding to people, doing these basic services that you can scale. And so if you can employ people in your area to do those basic human capital type of things that are necessary to companies in the United States, that way you can build a better brand. And I might shift the way you think about your agency, or even if it's an agency, and start thinking about how can you play your business model to the economy of Singapore, because you have a very rich economy. That's one thing that I know about Singapore. It's a very high income, very,
Yeah.
very lucrative country. It is. I've read about it. And so I think that if you figured out a way to take your human capital services and develop it in the free market economy and market it in the United States as a lower cost for people that are already doing this stuff in the United States, like simple, basic, maybe it's an SEO reseller package, right? I know that SEOreseller.com, they're all in the Philippines, and that's very based on human capital too. And maybe it's, maybe it's responding to stuff like that. Maybe it's writing content. Maybe it's doing all this great stuff that you can have companies in the United States, SEO agencies in the United States, outsource to you. That might be the way that you scale to that, $1 billion in revenue for your clients very quickly, because it doesn't have to be local SEO. And that's what I was trying to tell you before. Like, it's not just about selling local SEO. Everybody thinks it's just about SEO. It's not. It's about business management. You got to understand, where's the opportunity? What can I develop to fulfill that opportunity? How can I develop it? Analytics dashboards, there's one in the market, agency analytics. That's a place where I have much better ideas than that platform is currently using, that we can saturate, and people all over the world are going to use it because it's going to be in several different languages. So I think that, playing along with the economy is going to be probably what's most important to you, especially because it's human capital. So utilizing human capital, hiring people in your area to, do the SEO services, that can be a part of your business, but figuring out how to create a product or a service that leverages the entire world and that can be fulfilled in Singapore is going to get you to your numbers way quicker.
Yeah, I 100% agree with you, which is why like I kind of contemplated like, okay, should we hire remote, be a little bit like Alex Becker, hire us 100% remote, or should we like hire local talents, build an office, right? And then, just have a team that's, local with a proper office and everything. Like, so I have a lot of considerations on like which direction I should go towards. And I think that like to a certain degree, like, okay, having the office and the local setup is good. It has its like perks, right? Because everybody's driven, everybody's in the same office, and when you put like amazing people with bright ideas together, I think like amazing things can happen out of that. Yeah. So whereas
and to your point, there's pros of having people that are outsourced, freelance. I don't know how payroll tax works. I don't know how tax works in Singapore, but in the United States, you pay 12% of the person's salary in tax, which is a lot.
Yeah, that's a lot. That's a shitload. Yeah.
It's a lot. But you gain the valued benefit of actually growing a culture. And it's very difficult to grow a culture not in person. I don't care what you say about remote work. Remote work is fine. But I think that, companies like, that are working remote right now, like Google and Apple and all these great companies, there's something to be said about everybody knowing that they can come to work, they can go to the office, they can do this stuff, the traditional style. And it's very easy to build a culture that way because you're meeting with people in person. It's very difficult to motivate, to rally, to inspire people when they're on Zoom, because that personal connection, it means so much. So with Hyros, Alex Becker's business specifically, I mean, I can tell the regret in that guy's face is incredible. He he wishes he didn't spend his time selling these courses, doing all this business stuff that's not going to make a difference tomorrow, because those courses, they become old in a year, and you got to create a new one. And it's just, you're making money, but you're not building wealth, because those courses have no wealth. They have cash flow, they don't have wealth. And so with DevelopMark, in 10 years, when we have 100 employees, and I'm not making a lot of money right now, right? Like, I'm not making the big dollars. I'm making enough to buy the books, the food, and the car that I want, and the apartment that I want. But I'm not making course money. I'm not making a lot of money. That's not my goal. You can't possibly build wealth on a course. It's just cash flow. So he realized that when he was 30, and it took him a long time to realize that. And I met him in person, and he told me that was his biggest regret. And so, like, when I think about that, I think about, look, don't make any money. Hyros, he's not making money on right now. I'm positive. I mean, he might be breaking even because all the developers he has to pay. But that's how you build wealth. That's how he's going to build wealth, is by focusing on that, not selling some course that's going to build cash flow, pay for Hyros. That's an arguable statement. But, at the end of the day, it's like, you have to really build the wealth and not just the cash flow, because the cash flow is going to dry out. You're going to spend that cash on something. And so the wealth is nice because you keep getting cash.
Yeah, so exactly. So that's the thing, because that's why I like you, Ruan, because like you're not one of those guys that sell a course and then like buy a Lamborghini and then like flash it out and that kind of thing, because those are like the unsustainable, right? Those are the shiny object stuff. Those are the, the vicious cycle that people keep getting themselves into. It's like a looping thing that they just keep going back. It's like a vortex, right? That just sucks them in, because it's not about like making enough money to buy a Lambo and then show it off on YouTube and then suddenly like you're famous or something. It's not about that. I think like building generational wealth in the sense that like it's sustainable. Yeah, it's so much more than just like buying a Lamborghini and then showing it off. It's really not about it. It's about building a sustainable business that's scalable, that you might not profit on the front end, but 10 years down the road, on the back end is actually where the scalability comes in, and that's where all the profits are. And that's what would make a business successful. I agree with you on that.
Yeah, it's true. It's true. Outflow equals inflow. The more you spend in the economy, the more you're going to get back. I mean, it's just nature. It's how it works.
The money has to go somewhere. Do you know what I mean?
It has to. I mean, don't hold on to it. It's not going to do any good, you holding on to it. Grant Cardone buys property, right? That's where he spends his capital. The government owns cash, right? The government owns the cash. In your situation, a lot of real estate the government owns. So that's different there. You have to spend your money elsewhere. But in the United States, the government doesn't own much real estate at all. And so that's a great way for investors like Grant Cardone to take his cash that really means nothing. Cash doesn't mean anything. But you put the cash into the real estate, because real estate's a physical property, no matter because in 10 years, everything could be Bitcoin, which means all the cash doesn't matter, right? You're not gonna be able to go to a bank and say, here's my cash, give me Bitcoin. Maybe you will. But what I'm saying is the currency is always gonna change. Real estate's never gonna change, right? And so that's why people like Grant Cardone take his cash and they put it in real estate, because it's building wealth rather than just having cash flow. And so there's definitely pros to the cash too. I mean, being liquid is definitely very important. But at the end of the day, it's, you've got to really balance it. And so putting it back into your company is where I personally like to spend all my money. I've had the ideas of doing real estate. I've had the ideas of doing all the shit. But at the end of the day, it's just another thing that you have to worry about, another thing that you have to learn about. Learn one thing for 50 years and see what happens.
Correct. Yeah. So I like the way like you think you reinvest the money back into the business, and then it automatically becomes like a feedback loop, right? Like the more you put inside, the more you get out of it naturally. And then it just keeps happening and happening. So that's how you scale the business up. Yeah, that's really how I think like any business should scale up. In fact, doesn't matter what industry they're in, but they should look at their business not as a profit-making machine on the front end, but more like a generational wealth machine in that sense. Like that you profit more over the course of like 20 years or 30 years, simply because you paid the hard work at the front end, which is to kind of not make as much profit at the start, but 20 to 30 years down the road, because of the scalability model and how exponential the growth is, that's where the money starts coming in. Yeah, that's what I think.
Always.
Yeah.
It's always been that way.
Yeah, out of curiosity though, right? Like how many accounts do you manage right now in terms of like the whole company, like DevelopMark? Yeah.
That's a good question. I would probably say if I had to get, I'm going to give you the accurate number right now. It is, I don't know if they give me all the things in one shot. It's about, it's about 78.
Wow, that's a lot.
Yeah, but some are 300 a month, you know, some are just like basic hosting, basic website management. Some are 10,000 a month, you know. But we have 78 active websites on the internet.
Cool. Yeah, I think that's
A
still
lot. I mean, a lot to
it's
handle.
still a lot. Yeah.
We
So
have
how do you
go ahead.
manage the accounts? That's the thing. Like 78 accounts is a lot of accounts. How do you manage the accounts?
It's so simple. It's we have an account manager full time.
Okay.
He has monthly automated reports that get sent to the clients. He has we've really packaged our products and services. So some of our packages don't include time with us. They just include the service. So the packages that do include the time, our account manager spends an hour a month getting on call with clients, getting the information that they need, updating the team. And our SEO handles all these accounts. You know, one SEO person, I've realized, the way that we do things can handle up to 100 accounts. So, and then we have a content team, we have a blogging team. They can manage, one person on the blogging team can manage up to 50 accounts the way that we get content. And then we have a PPC team. One PPC person can manage probably like 10 accounts. That's something that we're having kind of a learning curve with right now. And then we have our website designers, and that's our biggest part of the team. And there's 4 people. So they're constantly creating new sites every single day. So it's really about managing time efficiently, managing culture efficiently. It's very easy to get demotivated when people join your company and you don't have processes and systems in place. So you really you're in a very lucky position right now because you haven't hired anybody yet, like full time. And so I think that you really need to figure out what it is that you're doing, build the processes for it, and then hire people. Because I'm going to tell you right now, what's super frustrating is you're going to think that you can hire somebody to do what you want them to do. And then 3 months down the line, your service is going to completely change. Your processes are going to change, and you're going to have to change everything. I've done that so many times. We're still doing that. So that's just one of the things that you can't avoid with leadership. You have to kind of just do that. You have to realize that, look, I've got to change this. I've got to change this. And then people get upset about it. Your employees are going to get upset about it because they're going to be like, dude, can I just work for a company that knows what they're doing? And that's the beauty of the startup, is things are constantly changing. You're constantly finding ways to make things better. And, you know, it's the beauty of a startup. So the way that we do it, one person can manage 50 accounts.
Wow, that's insane. Yeah, but I mean, if it works, why not? Yeah, sure. So for us, like, I think what we're trying to do right now is we're literally trying to document down everything, like the job description of every single candidate, like whether it's a performance marketer, whether it's a content writer, whether it's a website designer, all these things got to be documented down, the workflow, right? What's project management software that you use? I know that you use Basecamp. We use Asana, which is pretty much the same thing, right? You've got to store all the client's data inside, like the passwords and the usernames and, the sales agreement, the scope of work and everything. Yeah. So we're trying to make this a really scalable process before we hire anyone. So by the time we onboard someone as an employee, right? Like, we literally just feed them all these things. Like, these are the videos that you got to watch. These are the documents that you have to go through, go get it done. Yeah, that's how a scalable business is being run, whereby I don't physically need to be there. I could be like on a holiday on Bali or somewhere, and then they could be running the business simply because I'm on the business, not in the business. That's how a business is scalable. Yeah, I think.
Yeah, and in a startup, you're going to find that a lot of your staff members are going to have a lot of power, and they're going to have the ability to make decisions themselves. They're going to have the ability to innovate themselves. And that's when you really get satisfaction out of a small business, is when people are doing things and you don't even know, but then you look at what they're doing and it's like to your standards and it's really good and it's better than what you would have done. That's when you really start realizing that all of your effort of making those templates, making those job descriptions, doing all that work that nobody wants to do. But at the end of the day, it's going to be very satisfying when you see your employees taking action, taking initiative to do something that you would be proud of if you did it yourself. And you didn't do it. You didn't do it. You were working on other things. And like eventually what happens, Jim, is people start working on so many things, the company grows. And just out of sheer hard work, time, effort, think about it. Right now we have, 12 people full-time working. So like eventually so much production happens that you just start to grow.
Yeah, I completely agree. So do you guys actually have like an in-house developer developing the Splash Dash itself, or like you kind of work with external vendors for that?
Yeah, we have an in-house developer that's developing it right now.
Wow.
That person has interest in Splash Dash. So the payment arrangement is not as if they're on payroll. And so it's kind of like their baby. It's kind of my baby. And so we have developers developing Splash Dash. We have developers developing sites. We have developers developing widgets. We have developers doing a lot of custom tools to make our projects easier. The number one thing I'm going to invest in the future is engineers by far. And obviously, you know why, engineers get stuff done. We don't need that many content managers the way we get content now that we've discovered machine learning and AI. We don't need a lot of designers. Designers are really good. They get stuff done really quickly. We need a lot of account managers definitely to make sure that the accounts are taken care of. We need a project manager. Project managers can handle a lot. And we have sales guy. We have a sales guy that's bringing in sales, which is just awesome. So he's taking on all the leads that come in through DevelopMark and he's closing them. So I'm not doing that part. Mostly my time right now is focused on culture. We're moving into a new office space. It's beautiful. I don't know if you've seen it.
Not yet. Yeah.
High ceilings. It's very industrial. It's very agency-like, and we're very excited about that. So we move in there September 1st. And so I'm focused on those types of things and getting people to like DevelopMark. I'm focused on YouTube. I'm focused on some of the stuff that has sustainability, while the team is focused on the right now, which is also sustainability. They're also writing their own templates. They're also creating their own processes for their departments. So it's really exciting because a year ago, 2 years ago, I didn't have a department. There was no departments. Now there's departments, which is kind of cool because they're responsible for the results of the client in their own department. So the model is just brilliant.
Correct. Yeah. So, okay. So how do you departmentalize like the departments in your digital marketing agency? Do you have like, the content writer is actually the same as the SEO technician, right? Because SEO is really just like, basically good content plus on-page SEO plus a bit of technical SEO, right? And then maybe you have another department with like all the performance marketers, and then maybe you have another department with like all the sales guys. Like, how do you structure the agency structure in DevelopMark?
Yeah, so probably the most important part here is we sell the same thing every time. So we're not going to take a client if it's completely custom unless it's fun or unless we're getting paid a lot. So we have a process that's written out from the beginning until the end. And what that process looks like is salesperson brings that client in. The salesperson, that's one department, sales. The salesperson introduces the new client to the account management team. That's another department, account management team. The client has calls with the account management team, the design team, the SEO team, and the content team. So now this person is going from sales to meeting the account manager, to meeting the lead web developer, to leading the lead SEO, to meeting the lead content management person in the first 6 weeks of the site being built. Now there's no communication errors. Everybody has the responsibility and they take initiative in getting on the call with these clients. And we have slides that they have to go through and fill out. So the information is like, boom, it's like tight. And so really departments all come down to the services that you're offering. So, with us, our website designers and developers, they don't touch SEO. They don't touch content. Our SEOs, they don't touch website design. They don't touch website development. They just do the SEO. Our content editors and writers, they don't touch the SEO. They just write the content. And then our account managers don't touch anything. They just report to the client. So creating that restrictive function in your company is critical because you're going to have situations to where the SEO wants to make a design change, but they're not designers. So like you can't do that, but it's going to happen in your business. It just will. And so you're going to have situations to where the account manager makes changes that the client requests, but they're not website designers. So that you're going to find those challenges. And that's the key of making departments. And that's one of the other reasons why I love Duda, is because you're able to lock functions and features for certain team members. So yeah, they can access our sites. They can go into the edit mode. They just can't change the text. They can't change the banners. They can't change the header. They can't change the footer. All they can do is republish. All they can do is some of this other stuff. And that's how you scale, is restricting the features and creating departments. So now I have a unique situation to where I know who my department leaders are. So when a new employee comes on, that department leader, guess what, is responsible for that new employee, not me. And that's how you scale. When a new SEO comes, they're going to talk to Parker. When a new content person comes, they're going to talk to Colleen. When a new website designer or developer comes, they're going to talk to Evan. When a new account management person comes, they're going to talk to Tom. When a new chief executive or chief operating or chief whatever comes, they're going to talk to me. So there is in the departments, if you can compartmentalize your business, you're going to have the situation to where people lead everybody else for you, and you can focus on, operational stuff, which is really where you can create sustainability.
Right. So it's about empowering leaders in the company to kind of take charge, right? I think that's so important. Like you want to, you want to equip them with, bearing the responsibility so that they can actually take ownership, and they have that sense that, okay, like, Ruan actually trusts me in this company. I gotta do him like, proud. Do you know what I mean? So they put in all the effort to kind of really like, because you trusted him so much, him or her so much that, yeah, he can't fail you. He gotta just go all in and prove his worth. And yeah, that's so important, I think. Like, in fact, that would probably be my biggest takeaway. Yeah, to kind of scale my company to the next level.
Yeah, and guess what? Guess what, right? So we're talking about scaling a company, okay, so what if you're empowering people on how to use PBNs, right? What if you're empowering people on how to use crowd surfing? Or what if you're empowering people on how to use Black Hat? And that's how you're going to grow. Now you have SEOs that don't want to work for you, because they know the disservice that you're doing for your client. It's just not scalable. So like giving your power out is something that's very scary to a lot of leaders. I give my power out every single day on YouTube. So it's really helped me become a better leader, because I'm giving away pretty much everything that I know, beside all the sensitive client information that I keep bundled up in my course.
Yeah.
But I try to give everything away. And like, once you can really realize that giving your power away is the best form of leadership, you're going to grow. And that's why people like Chase Rayner has grown on YouTube, because he gives away such valuable information. That's why, you're going to grow, because you understand the value of giving away your power so somebody else can hold that torch. Leadership is about getting none of the credit, but doing all the work. And it's like really sad to think about that. You're like this weird depressed mode where you're like, dude, I need more credit, but I get enough credit. I mean, if I ever feel like that, I just go into my YouTube comments and read. If I ever feel like that. So I think that, it's a feeling that you're definitely going to get once you start giving away power, but it's very nice to see other people gaining respect from what you're doing, and you did it, but you know that they took the credit for it. It's good. You need a culture to where other people are winning. You can't just be the only person winning inside of a culture. That was me like a year and a half ago. And I didn't like it. Because guess what? If you're the one that's winning, all the problems come to you. If you empower other people take responsibility for those problems.
Yeah, exactly. So like my whole goal, right, with this like company and stuff is really just to, I mean, obviously, first of all, is to be able to pay the mortgage and and live a frugal life, right? Like be the most woke, be the most empty house guy. Like that's fine. Like I don't need to own like a Lamborghini or anything.
I don't need to own any. Dude,
yeah,
if you saw my house, you would laugh. Nothing in the shelves aren't even cool.
Yeah, there's probably like a couple of books here and there, right? So like so for me, like I think that what I'm gonna do is really just like, live as frugal as possible, and then be able to reinvest whatever profits that come into the company back into the company, hire people, provide jobs, right? Stimulate the economy, and then overall really like make the world a better place and make it better for like business owners, and the whole market to really like just stimulate itself, like to function properly. That's what I think like the whole vision of my business is to like make sure that we could provide in the economy and help small business owners, which are the backbone of the economy. So that's really the whole vision. And
yeah, and it's a good vision. And I think with Singapore, you're gonna have to find an industry to where they really need help and you can help. Focus on the economy, and so like with us, we're so lucky that when COVID happened, we have plumbers and we have home people and we have roofers and people are home more now. So guess what? We noticed more of the home problems. When we were doing restaurants, we would have been screwed. And so we were able to keep 89% of our clients. 10% dropped off because they were in other industries, but mainly, finding that industry in your area. Maybe it's government. I mean, look, if I was in, let's say I was in Venezuela, right, where it's very difficult to not work with government. I mean, everything is government. Well, sell to government, right? That's the shift that you have to make inside of your local area to really be successful. In the United States, it's kind of like anything goes. You know what I mean? It's free. It's kind of like Singapore. You can kind of do everything, which is nice. But if I was in a more restricted type of country and I was in a more restrictive, I wouldn't just do local SEO. I would try to do something that benefits the economy itself rather than trying to do what everybody else tells you to do on YouTube.
Correct. Yeah. I think what started out as like, an initial attempt to make money online has like really transcended to something whole like different now, right? Because now, like when you don't have to worry about money, you kind of like transition into not really worrying, but you transition into doing what you actually want to do. Like, okay, I probably want to like go and help like the charities that I want to help. I don't even mind like going to like orphanages and then like, hanging out with the kids and stuff, because that's what I want to do. Like, it's not so much about, it's like, I got to worry about the mortgage. I got to worry about like my next meal anymore. It's really about the whole mindset shift on what it is that you want to do. Because right now, like when you have enough to kind of support yourself and you don't have like a crazy overhead of having to like pay for a Lamborghini or anything, then you could be as woke as you want and be as free in that sense.
But Lamborghini is the stupidest thing I've ever seen. I mean, do you understand how much tax that is in the United States every year? So if you buy a Lamborghini, you're gonna pay $20,000 a year in tax. You understand how stupid that is?
Yo, Ruan, you have no idea, right? Okay, how much does a Lamborghini cost in the US?
$250,000.
$250,000 US, right? So that translates to about give or take 400,000 Singapore dollars. Guess how much a Lamborghini?
Okay, how much is a Lamborghini?
Yeah, guess how much a Lamborghini costs here? It costs 1 million Singapore dollars. That's roughly about six to 800,000 US dollars. It's probably twice the amount that you guys are paying for a Lamborghini. Yeah. So,
but how does the tax work?
Oh, it's more. Let me just bring out the road tax for you for a Lamborghini over here. It's insane. It's $5,834 per year, and that's just the road tax alone. We're not even talking about you got to pay for the parking, you got to pay for the petrol. Petrol is more expensive. Gas is more expensive here than in the US, right? We even have this thing called a certificate of entitlement. Like that itself is like already $37,000 that you got to pay right off the bat. Like it's crazy if you think about it. I'm just going to quickly share my screen with you so that you kind of get what I'm trying to say.
I mean,
Look at this, like it's 1 million, right? Without the certificate of entitlement.
Yeah.
With the certificate of entitlement, it's $37,000. With the road tax, it's $5,834 per year. And even it's like this VES, right? Which is like a surcharge that you got to pay. Yeah, this is how much shit that you're paying for. And it's probably not going to, it's not going to give you anything. Like
huge waste of money. Huge waste of money.
Yeah, it's a scam. It's a scam.
The only thing it's going to give you is, it's going to make you look rich. And I think that has no value to me. I don't care about that. I like looking good. I mean, I drive an M3. Trust me, like by no means am I driving around like Jeff Bezos was. I got to stroke my ego a little bit, but like that's too much. Man. That's just so stupid. When I paid my BMW tax this year, I was upset. I was genuinely upset. I bought the car, and to pay $3,000 a year in tax on a vehicle to me is just like, dude, I need that $3K to increase payroll. So you make these mistakes, man.
I rather treat like my team members well than having to treat myself well. Because the thing is, the happiness that you receive by treating yourself well is so short term. You're probably gonna feel like, a dopamine hit for like 2 weeks, the first 2 weeks of buying the car. And then subsequently, it's just the same, it's just a car. It's just gonna help you get from point A to point B, there's nothing else, right? Just the other day, I was like speaking to like this guy that grew a company that sold his company for like $30 million. So he actually, okay, he's a co-founder of a hosting company in Singapore called Vodian. His name is Alvin. So like Alvin actually bought a Lamborghini, right? The day he's like, he made so much money like that he actually bought Lamborghini. And he just 1 month after that, he decided to sell the Lamborghini simply because like it was too much to kind of handle, right? Because the Lamborghini broke down in the middle of the road. And then like there were motorcyclists that just went past, right? And just laughed at him. And that was when he just became woke. He's like, what the hell am I doing in my life? Like buying a Lamborghini and then, you know, just trying to show off and look rich, right? Because it just like it's just a dopamine hit that you get for like 2 weeks, and that's about it, right? Because I mean, that's the way Alex Becker would put it, right?
Stupid.
Yeah.
I mean, it's stupid.
Yeah, there's no point in doing that. So like now, like after I study like all these successful entrepreneurs and like what they do with their money, I study like Alex Becker, I study like Alvin, I study you, and I even study Chase Trainer. I just realized that, okay, look, living frugally and then being able to reinvest in the business is what I want to do, right? It's really not so much about, you know, that gratification for yourself to, I don't know, like drive a flashy car, because it doesn't do anything. It's an ego boost, right? Is what it is. It's like you're so insecure about yourself that, oh, I just gotta buy like, you know, a super expensive thing to make myself feel good. It doesn't make any sense. Yeah.
Cool, man.
I think this has been a really great session. It's an eye-opener. So yeah, I like it.
Yeah, for sure, brother. Yeah, well, I was happy to do it. It's a good way to start my Saturday. I got something really cool I'm working on, as you saw, Splash Dash, but I also have other things that I'm working on that we didn't discuss. So, you know, thanks for the time, man. I really appreciate it. And then I'll see this, I'm sure, on your channel. And then we can go from there, man. Let's stay connected. I'm glad we were able to get on.
Yeah, for sure. You're saying you'll upload this on your YouTube channel, or?
It's just up to you. I mean, you can send it to me and I will. You just have to send me the file.
Oh yeah, sure. I have to like zip it or something. Like it has to be below a certain gigabytes or something.
You could probably Google Drive it. Okay. That's probably the easiest way. Just because of the file size. But yes.
I'll Google Drive it. Yeah. You gotta go now, or like you could hang on for like another 10 minutes, because I actually wanted to ask you like a little bit more.
Yeah. Go ahead. Shoot.
Yeah.
I'm not in a rush.
Yeah, I mean, this was a topic that was kind of like, I wouldn't say controversial. It's more like, okay, people are kind of like riding the wave on, right? Because I think a couple of months ago, you produced like the ClickFunnels pyramid scheme video, right? So I actually like the fact that, yeah, you brought up that, okay, it's really just an internal multi-level marketing scheme, right? In the sense that, yeah, I'll sell you a course on teaching you how to sell a course to other people. It's like, what's the logic behind that, right? I don't ever understand that. But whereas like in an agency model, there's actually actual value being delivered, because like you actually generate revenue for the clients. But whereas for like a course teaching you how to sell a course, that's like, you know, courseception, right? So what's really like your take on like how can we like combat this, you know, toxic culture of like, it's a very scumbag kind of move, right? That, yeah, it's just a ClickFunnels selling ClickFunnels to sell courses to people to sell more courses. Like, how do we prevent that, in your opinion?
Well, I think that there's already awareness of what they're doing. So a lot of people, thanks to channels like CoffeeZilla, right? You watch CoffeeZilla.
Yeah, I watch CoffeeZilla. Yeah, she's hilarious. Like,
and so there's already channels that do that, and there's already so much awareness of these people doing that. Eventually, it's never going to die out, because scammers have been scammers forever. I mean, it's part of the market, right? It's not something that you can just get rid of. But at the end of the day, it's something that's going to get a lot of awareness, and people are going to start realizing those people are still going to get sales of what they're selling. But if you look at people like Adrian Morrison, and you look at people like all those types of people that are actually successful at selling big courses. Those are people that you should learn from. But if you look at somebody like, anybody that has, they're telling you about their agency course, and you search them, they don't even have a website, that's a red alarm. So I think that those people naturally over time are just going to be washed out by the market. And I think that people like Sam Ovens, who does have good, valuable information, they're going to continue to scale because they actually have, they've actually done the work to get the ability to teach. You can't just start a teaching business. It doesn't work that way. You can't just randomly say, I'm going to wake up, I'm going to do a course, even though I've never had a client before. That doesn't work, right? Even if you have sales ability, if you have this ability. And one of the things that I can't stand, and I understand it's motivation, I understand it's mindset. You can't just teach what you know. It doesn't work that way. Russell Brunson, one of the things that he said that pissed me off so much was, if you've read a book and I've read only a chapter ahead of that book, I can charge you to teach you what I know. And okay, you can do that. You technically can do that. Does that mean it's right? Absolutely not, because that person could have gone somewhere else where the person has read more books, not just a chapter, books and years of life experience to be able to charge money for what they teach. So, it's like when I get a student and that student has one client and I have 78 clients, I have 77 more books that I've read than you, not just a fucking chapter. It's like,
for sure.
When I read that quote and everybody's like, oh my God, Russell, you're so right. You're so right. Everybody can teach. That's not the case, man. It's like, you got to have the information that's valuable. And you'll probably still sell some copies. But once again, we talked about building wealth. And you're not going to be able to build wealth that way if you're just selling these little courses. Really, the wealth is going to come from having the actual education and experience to be able to teach and actually create. Everybody's new mission is to replace the education system. Everybody wants to replace the education system. That's not going to happen until people, people like Iman Gachi, good friend of mine.
Iman Gachi. Yeah,
he's a great guy.
Facebook ads guy.
He's a great guy, but he's too young. He's too young to, and I'm not trying to sound negative. It's just with time comes experience. And so there's things that he's messing up on now that he's going to realize when he's 30, when he's going to realize when he's 40. And great things are going to come to that kid. But at the end of the day, like, he can still have his mind and his mission, but he still has things to teach. But overall, I think that a lot of these people are going to be washed out by the market once they realize, like, it's not sustainable. I don't even know anything. I'm just going on camera and selling what I know now, but I don't know what's best for that person. There's one person that I know. His name's Billy Wilson. And
I see his ads all the time. Oh my God. So you have no idea, everyone. I see his ads all the time.
One thing he said that really pissed me off one time is he said he was making like $5,000 a month with an agency, and his agency. And he said he doesn't want any more clients. But here he is teaching people how to grow an agency. And it's like, whoa, that's mind-boggling, dude. Mind-boggling. If you work with barbershops, if you work with these little restaurants, if you work with these little gyms, you should not be teaching anybody how to grow an agency, because that's not, first of all, those aren't even the industries that are lucrative for the agency model. You look at people like Josh Nelson, he can teach people how to grow an agency. Why? Search plumbing SEO, search his revenue, search his Fortune 5000, look at his book, look at his clients, right? They can teach the agency. If you're just a freelancer at home, you have a barbershop client, you should not be teaching people how to grow an agency.
Yeah, for sure. I think that, like, the issue is that they can't walk the talk. Like, if you're trying to, like, sell SEO, like, dude, you gotta at least have some rankings to show for. If you're trying to sell Facebook ads, like, why the hell are you cold calling me to sell Facebook ads? Do you know what I mean? Like, they need to walk the talk, right? In the sense that, I started out my business like cold calling and cold emailing. There's nothing wrong with that. But what I mean is, like, at a certain point when you sell a course and you're telling people to do the things that you wouldn't even want to do it yourself, then it just doesn't make any sense. And that's why it's so, like, scummy to, con people into buying, like, your $9.97 course, and then, give them, like, mentorship coaching or monthly, meetings and whatnot. Like, it's just scummy behavior, and it taints our industry, right, Ruan? Because, like, we're in the digital marketing industry, and there are people out there, like what you mentioned, just coming in and just selling shit that they can't even walk the talk for, because they don't run an agency, they don't have a team, they don't, actually have the capacity to kind of teach you on what they should be teaching you on. That's what I think.
Yeah.
So
And it's like, how are you going to give the best advice that you can? That's the problem with education, is the advice that I give anybody right now is going to be so different in a year. So why would I monetize that? And that's
yeah,
why my course is a monthly basis, because I keep pumping in new things that I'm learning as I go on, rather than just selling one static course, which is very successful if you still sell a static course. Nothing
right,
wrong with selling the course. It's just people need to understand that the information that they know is going to change in a year, and it's not going to be beneficial a year later for what they've already taught and charged for. So
correct, correct.
definitely
Yeah,
a balance there, and that's why there's so much value in live courses. That's why a lot of these colleges, they do live sessions. They don't just give you a course to learn. No, you go there to get the updated information to date. You don't just go there and learn. I think a very successful course, and I've thought about doing this, is something to where there's 10 meetings with me and it's group coaching. So like, you have sessions, you have an agenda, you have a curriculum, and it's all the stuff that I know now. If you buy the course that I released in 2018, I don't even sell that course anymore. The information is completely irrelevant. None of it,
yeah,
it all still works. It's just I'm not that person anymore. So I think that
yeah.
with
I think it works, but nobody wants to do that. Like nobody wants to go to crowdsearch.me anymore and
no,
buy.
they
Yeah, nobody
don't.
wants to do pbntechlinks.com anymore because it's outright sketchy, and also it's outright gonna penalize you in the long run. So
Yep.
yeah, those are outdated information that when I at that point in time took your course in the year of 2018. Yeah, I definitely like learned a lot there, but as time goes on, we got to keep ourselves updated with the trend, and then yeah, definitely slowly scale like our knowledge as well. Like we just got to keep up the times, right? The Google algorithm changes and algorithm, whatever it is, like we just gotta be able to keep up with like the industry trend. That's why we're in business. That's why we don't sell like a freaking course for like 997 and then try to scale it to the moon. It's just scummy behavior. That's what it is, and it builds such a bad branding for like digital marketers in general. Because like the moment I speak to business owners, right, for like a free strategy session, they're gonna be like, yeah, how much does your cost cost? I'm like, I'm not selling a course. I'm selling a consulting. I'm selling a agency service where we work together to grow your business. I have no cost to sell you, bro. Like that's something that I hear from like business owners that I speak to every day, and it's ridiculous because the people that sell courses have tainted the industry, like given it such a bad name. And now I'm like, how do I combat that, and how do I educate the people that I'm not selling a course, right? I'm selling an agency service.
Yeah, it's true. It's true.
So tough, yeah, but you just gotta do what you gotta do. So currently right now, like what do you do for like lead generation in your business? Like do you just rely on mostly word of mouth and referrals, or do you still do some form of active like marketing and stuff?
Yeah, I mean, I think the most active form of marketing that I do right now is content marketing with YouTube.
Yeah, yeah.
Whether it's good or bad, whether people think it's good or bad, it's still a form of getting people to think about me. And
Correct,
so,
correct.
if you think about content marketing, it's the most effective way of marketing for three basic reasons. One, it works for you 24/7. So, me networking, me reaching out cold email, that doesn't work. It's not going to work 24/7. I'm not going to spend my time there. Two, you don't have to pay for the videos you've already made. So, salespeople, you have to pay them. Content marketing, there's no commission, there's nothing. You literally put
Yeah.
out content and people see it and they call
It
on
lives
you.
there forever, right? It lives on YouTube forever.
Forever, grows forever, and it's super sustainable. Three, when the person inquires with you from looking at the content that you've produced, they're extremely qualified because they've already kind of gone through your information, so they're not going to waste your time. And that's my basic, most aggressive form of lead generation. We're now adopting a model called They Ask, You Answer in our agency, where all 13 staff members are going to be providing content for me so I can make videos. And so that's going to take my production time down tremendously. So like the video I did yesterday about Google My Business pricing, I had my lead SEO research it. I had him write up a
Correct.
script. And I kind of just recorded it. So I think that that's going to be the way that I scale the content production. This guy, Mark Sheridan, you should read his book. You need to read his book. You need to read his book, or else it's a disjustice to your clients. It's called They Ask, You Answer. And it's a book about they have a multi-million-dollar agency in Connecticut. They're actually local, And they do gigantic content marketing campaigns for clients. So if you want to see an example of one of his sites, so he owns a company called Riverside Pool and Spa, or is it Riverside? Or riversidepoolandspas.com. So this site, oh, actually it's not that. What is it called?
I'm looking at marcusssheridan.com. They ask you answer. Marcus
Yep, that's
Sheridan
it.
International. Yeah, it's I could buy a copy from Amazon.
Yep, that's it. Dude, you're gonna learn that book. I'm not kidding. I wish it was here. I carry it with me everywhere I go. But that book, you're gonna learn so much information. It's scary because the guy has so much experience. He can teach, right? And so his company, impactbnd.com, that's the name, impactbnd.com. You look them up in SEMrush, look them up in Ahrefs. I mean, there's so much organic traffic going to that site, and he teaches you exactly how he did it. So I think that with that model, with content production, content marketing, I'm not going to advertise. Advertising is a waste of money for us. Really where the money is content marketing. Advertising is going to be great for what? Splash Dash. That's where advertising is going to be really good. And content marketing, you know? So that's my active form of lead generation right now, is more so that. And then obviously referrals. I mean, that's going to be the number one way. We have the highest conversion rates for referrals, but getting people to inquire ultimately comes down to YouTube.
Sure. I mean, okay, so that is like contingent on the fact that you have a YouTube following. So for somebody like me that does not have a YouTube following, what would you recommend is the best way to kind of grow that YouTube following, I guess? And then at the same time, you know, on the side, because currently right now I'm using like Facebook ads to kind of get clients in the door, to kind of get small business owners to book a strategy session and speak with me and stuff. So I'm spending probably about like $220 per day on Facebook ads alone. So like, what advice would you give to me to say like grow my YouTube following? And you know, do I like just do, you know, tutorial videos and then try to get that traction, or like what should I do?
Yeah, and so YouTube is all about being different of what people are doing right now. When I started, nobody was showing their clients. I remember that very clearly. I was looking at SEO channels. I was looking at Alex Becker. I was looking at Chase Rayner. I was looking at Josh Rashinsky. Nobody showed their clients. And that's because guess what? They couldn't show their clients because they were doing sketchy things, with the exception of Chase. So I said, you know what? I'm going to show my clients. That was the differentiating point for me now. Is that the differentiating point for me now? No, it's changed. Everybody shows their clients now. So now I have to think about a way to innovate and change the way that I make YouTube videos to be able to adapt to what's not there now. And so what you would need to do is you would have to figure out a way to present your information in a completely unique way that no other SEO is doing. And a really good way to do that is if you've ever searched The Lazy Stoner on YouTube, he teaches us.
I watch that guy. Like he's very interesting. He's comical at the same time, right? And then he goes into things like find what profitable niches or something like that. Yeah, that was one of his latest videos.
Regardless of the information that he's teaching, he's high while he's doing it. That right there is enough for the channel to be successful. It's just got to be different. You can teach it all the tutorials you want. They're not going to go anywhere unless you're different.
Correct. Yeah, you gotta add like your own flavor to it, right? And then subsequently,
Yeah.
I think your channel like was a big hit because like your first video, right, the one with the Facebook ads tutorial, like that got you so much attention, right? Because at that point in time, there wasn't really a guy that did like how to start a Facebook ad from start to finish. So you were one of like the pioneers, and then it just like got you so much.
Everybody did my video.
Yeah.
But that's what you just said is critical, pioneering it. Because at the time, people weren't posting that video because they were trying to sell it in a course. So I said, fuck it, I'm just going to give everything I know away. And it worked. And now it doesn't work that way. Because the thing I really hate about YouTube is people will do competitive research and then they'll basically copy your video. I mean, Kevin David has done it to me several times. So you've got to Kevin David will not go on a camera, get high and teach SEO, right? He won't. The Lazy Stoner has this unique ability to stand out because of the way that he does it.
Wait, that being said, you mentioned that Kevin David is copying, who was it? Like he's reverse engineering somebody else's content, right? I'm not sure who it is.
Copies everybody.
Yeah. So it's not unique in that sense, but he did manage to grow like such a huge following also because like, you know, he's staying in that niche of like, you know, make money online and then yeah, selling a course and everything. So I don't know. It's definitely not the direction that I'm trying to go towards. But naturally, if I were to try to grow a YouTube following, it has to be still in the niche of digital marketing. It's just the content ideas that I want to like push out, that I need to give like a more, specific thought process to it to kind of understand like what is it that people want to watch out there.
Right. Exactly. And that's the key is, there's so many Facebook ads in 2020, Facebook ads, they all do very well, these videos. So if that's a video that you wanted to do, I'm sure it can do well if you give some value that other people aren't giving. But, I got this advice from one of my clients who's now very successful at YouTube. His name's Eric Decker. What he did was just completely different than what everybody else was doing. He pioneered his own way into the information, and that gave him success. And so for me, it's like, I don't know if I have all this time to be able to pioneer new information. I kind of just want to put out information for sales reasons. So because when I get a client, we can just refer them to videos that we've made. And that right there is enough reason for me to keep making content. I don't necessarily think I need 1 million subscribers, because obviously I'm not going to be able to do that with SEO. I think SEO is not a type of niche where there's 1 million people actively searching it. Instead, if I wanted 1 million subscribers, I would probably get into Facebook, social media marketing, those types of niches. But overall, I'm going to stay within the SEO niche, and I'm just going to keep producing content. And then no hopes there. I'm just trying to get enough information to where my salespeople, hey, Ruan's already made a video about this. Here's a link.
Yeah, I think building that library of like all the resources that your clients can refer to is so powerful, right? Like you look at Chase. Chase has like probably the most number of live stream SEO like videos on the planet. So there's no question that this guy is like, the quote unquote god of on-page SEO. So yeah, that's that. And I think it's gonna be very powerful if like, you have this insane library of SEO videos that you could just direct your clients to, right? And better still if they're like 2 hours long or 3 hours long, because chances are they're gonna sit in there for like 20 minutes and like, yeah, I'm just gonna hire this guy because I don't have the time, right? That's the situation that we want to be in, to kind of just direct them there, and then they are already persuaded to become a client because they understand that you are the expert and you are the authority in this field. Yeah, that's the nature of content marketing, right? That's the whole objective of content marketing.
Correct.
Yeah. Cool. I think that's pretty much all the time that you have, right? Because I could stay on, but I'm not sure like what else we're gonna discuss about.
No, it's all good. I've got to hop out because I've got to start getting ready for a friend's Jack and Jill party.
All right, cool. Enjoy your weekend, Ruan.
Yeah, you got it, Jim. Thank you so much for having me on.
No, it's the other way around. Like you're having me on as well. Yeah.
We'll stay connected, man. I mean, I'm gonna watch you grow. You're gonna watch me grow, and pretty soon we're gonna be kind of in line with each other. And I think that you're gonna grow fast.
I will actually like pay you a visit at Connecticut. Like once this whole COVID thing is over, like I would actually fly over there and take a look at how your agency operates, because I think that I learned so much just from watching your YouTube videos. So whenever that next like mastermind thing is happening again, I just want to participate in that, because I think it will be an amazing experience for me. And we can just have a really solid exchange of ideas. How does the workflow run and everything when we get to that stage? But that I think won't be happening anytime soon because the whole COVID situation. But probably sometime next year, mid next year, I hope that this whole COVID thing dies down, and
I'll be around.
And hopefully by then, the presidential election thing is sorted out, and we can just fly, and no question. Yeah.
You got it, brother. All right, Jim. Well, have a nice day.
All right. Thanks for having me, Ruan. And really enjoyed this session.
You got it, brother. Talk to you soon.
All right. Take care. Bye-bye.